How's it going, good people? Today got a garage door opener installation. Not sure of the make and model. We'll find that out once we get there. Was not able to make contact with the customer for this particular job. The customer did book it through a third-party service, and that being said, that has its challenges. Usually they're not major challenges, but sometimes contacting the customer prior to find out information about the job can be a challenge. That being said, we'll go ahead and actually en route to the location where the garage door opener will be installed, and from there we'll show you a time lapse of the installation process and the removal. This job starts out, got the ladder already set up, and have to disassemble the existing garage door opener. Ideally, you do this with the door down, and eventually you'll see that I do take the door down, but I started with the door up because it was hot in the garage. I think it was about 80, 85 degrees outside, so the garage was 90 to 95 degrees. And I went to take the garage door opener down, but when I got it to try to put it on the floor, the bar or track hit the spring, so I had to put it back up and then go release on the other end and then come back to the opener end and let it down. As you see here, the door is moving back and forth. This is me showing the customer that the springs needed to be adjusted, to which she told me that one of the springs actually broke about a year ago and the other one was replaced about 4 to 5 months ago. And because the door was not balanced, thus it was falling back down. And I explained to her that the main reason for this is that's probably why the opener failed. Next step in this process is to assemble the track as well as the wheel and the gear that goes onto the end of the track closest to the door. The motor goes on the other end of the track, and this particular garage door opener has a nylon plastic type of belt with teeth on it, similar to the belt that you would see on a serpentine belt on a car that runs the alternator or drives the alternator. It also has this cam buckle that connects the two ends of the belt around, and I did struggle with this for a moment. I did not realize that the buckle here is actually the piece that connects inside of the track railing, or I forgot, the carriage is what they call that particular part. Also, this is the first time ever putting together a Genie garage door opener, so the steps for this one was a little bit different and the components are a little bit different, but the concepts are the same as the LiftMaster and the other Chamberlain garage door openers that I've done in the past. So now that I have that corrected and getting together, I'm tightening the track down to the top of the garage door opener, and of course read the instructions and read them well. Next step was to connect the end of the track, and because this particular opener is actually the track on this particular opener is shorter than the opener that I took down, I actually had to move the bracing that is up on the ceiling. So I did my measurements and checked to make sure that it needed to go where it needed to go, and check for studs as well, because you never know unless you climb in the attic which way the joist and beams are running in the attic. So I checked to make sure that was there and whatnot. The bracket that was above the garage door, I thought I could reuse it, but I couldn't, and so I ended up having to take it down. However, the holes were exactly in the same spot as the new one, so I was able to use those same holes and just put the new bracket in that came with this particular opener. As I mentioned, I had to take the bracing down from the opener, and I kind of explained this to the customer at this moment. And so lining up the opener to see about where that bracing needed. Unfortunately for me, the GoPro battery died while doing this particular job, so I have to tell you everything else that happened instead of you having the visual. From that particular point of getting the brackets moved and the opener attached to said brackets, I was able to get that done, no problem. The wiring for this particular garage door opener, I don't know if you saw it in the video, in the time-lapse portion, but the The wiring came in on the right hand side of the opener, and on the old opener the wiring connected to the back. On this particular Genie model, the wiring connects on the left, so I had to run new wire from the right side all the way across to the left. And what I did was I used the wire that came with the new opener to attach the, I'm assuming this garage door opener was installed when the house was built, and it appeared that the wiring that was used was doorbell wiring because it had two conductors, a red wire and a white wire. So that being said, I removed the faceplate. It did have a junction box in the ceiling for the wiring, so I attached the new wires to the old wires using wire nuts, similar to how you would wire anything else up in the house, and then put those wire nuts up inside of the junction box, put the cover in, ran the new wires through the opening on there, and then to the opener. I did not replace the garage door sensors on this particular door because again, the wiring was behind the drywall and above in the ceiling. And so in order to run the new wires in addition to the new sensors, I probably would have had to pull all of that out. So to take the easy road of things, I left those sensors in place. I did confirm that the old sensors will work with the new opener. And I left all the other extra parts with the customer. That way, if they ever do decide, hey, let's just put these new sensors in, they can do that, or they can have me come out to do that. I also performed the 2x4 test. Now, if you're not familiar, the 2x4 test is where you lay a 2x4 flat. The shortest side lays horizontal to the ground. Use that to test the reverse response of the garage door. And what is supposed to happen is when the garage door goes down, it's supposed to hit that 2x4, and it probably will apply some force to that 2x4, but it's supposed to reverse once after a second or two of that force being applied to the 2x4. If the door continues to go down, that means that the force limit that has been set in the garage door opener is either incorrect or is set too high, and of course you need to get that addressed accordingly based upon the manufacturer's recommendations. This particular garage door, speaking of force limits, this garage door has a where it automatically programs the force limits by just moving the door up and down. And so per the owner's or the installation manual, it says that the force limits are set when the door is first opened and closed a full cycle. Thus, you had to literally open the door, let it come all the way up, close the door, let it go all the way down, and then the force limit is automatically set. The travel limit for this particular door, I had to manually set that. The instructions were in the installation manual for how to set it. There are some buttons on the opener itself where you set how far up it's supposed to go and how far down is down, and then once you do that, it's saved in. The opener also came with two remotes for vehicles as well as a keypad that mounts on the exterior of the garage door. The customer asked, because the customer is well shorter than I was, she asked for, hey, could you put this at a height where I can reach? So I was like, okay. So I worked with her to get that at the appropriate height that worked best for her, that she could able to reach. The customer said she was going to program the keypad herself. So I left that as well as the instructions and other documentation that came with the garage door opener with her so that she would be able to complete that particular task or part of the project. That being said, that is everything with this particular garage door opener. This is the first time that I've installed a Genie garage door opener, and that being said, it is a little bit different compared to the Chamberlain and LiftMaster openers that I have installed in the past. However, it was not that much drastically different than those. I think pretty much all the manufacturers have a general concept of how a garage door opener is supposed to be designed, and for the most part, there's a track, there's a motor housing, there's a door control, and for those who don't know, the door control is the thing that goes on the wall, the button that goes on the wall, and there's the attachment to the actual garage door itself. In this particular video, though, I will also point out that because the springs were recently replaced, like a few months ago and a year ago, that I did advise the customer that those springs needed to be checked again, because I performed what is called the balance test on the garage door, and it horribly failed. And one further thing that I did was I pushed the door all the way up and it was disconnected from the opener. And even in the all the way up position, the door rolled back down probably a good 3 to 4 inches, which indicates, in my opinion, that okay, that door is really out of balance. Because when a door is all the way up, it should stay up. It may move like an inch or half an inch or so, but it should not be moving like a good 3 to 4 inches. And so because of that, I was like, hey, you might want to really get that checked again and make sure that those springs are set to the correct tightness. That being said, I will also point out, if you would like to see how to check the balance of your garage door, please drop a comment down below. I'll be sure to, if I get enough comments, I'll be sure to make a video demonstrating how to check the balance of your garage door. That will wrap things up for this video. Any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for those of you that are watching on YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you may be watching. Till next time, peace out.